we go, Zach. Who was the only NBA player to win MVP for a team in both conferences?
I wanted to say Moses Malone, but then I remembered I think Houston was technically in the Eastern Conference, so it's got to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the Bucks and the Lakers, right?
Oh, my goodness, you talked yourself out of the right answer. It is Moses Malone.
What?
The Rockets and the Sixers. They were in the West when he won the award. Kareem, when he won his MVPs, Milwaukee was in the West. So you actually literally...
I'm just leaving the show. I'm getting off the show.
Oh, I can't tell you how happy Hembo is right now. There is going to be no
I don't want to see Hembo.
him.
I see him taunting. I don't like that.
Let's talk about this year's MVP race. Nikola Jokic is your current MVP favorite, according to Caesars William Hill. The Joker has led his team outright in points, rebounds, and assists a league-high 14 times this year. But don't forget about Giannis. His odds before LeBron got hurt were 14-1. Now he's 6.5-1. The Greek Freak would be the fourth player ever to win 3 straight if he were to do it. And now here comes James Harden. Currently the 5th shortest odds at 9-1, leads the NBA in points per game scored or assisted on this year. And earlier this week on my radio show, Charles Barkley told me this.
But the MVP in the NBA right now is James Harden. What he's doing right now without KD and without Kyrie, we can't ignore that. James Harden is the MVP of the NBA, plain and simple.
And so Timmy Legler and Zach Lowe rejoin me here. Charles, in that same conversation, said, and he prefaced it by saying, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but he said right now James Harden might be the best player in the world. But let's focus on MVP. Legs, James Harden for MVP, do you like it?
Well, I like his name in the conversation, but it's not plain and simple. And Chuck knows I love him, but it's not plain and simple. For me, it would be Joel Embiid. And I think the argument that's going to be used against Embiid, oh, well, he's missed time. He's only played 31 games to this point. Well, James Harden's only played 30 games for Brooklyn. So they're basically at the same number. Embiid gets back soon enough, and he gets somewhere north of 50 games in with what he was doing to lead that team to the top seed in the Eastern Conference. And I don't care that they're winning without him. To me, all that says is he set the tone for what that team was going to think about themselves this year so that they could carry on winning when he's out. But he's a guy that's one of the most impactful players in the league on the defensive end of the floor. He has been absolutely unstoppable as an offensive force the way he has played for Philly, finally getting himself in shape, committed to being a power player. And for me, it's been Joel Embiid because I don't think anybody thought that it was going to be a number 1 seed going into the season. But again, he's got to get in, a certain number of games here to finish this thing out. Harden's in the mix, Giannis. I think some guys in the West now are starting to make a case too. Jokic, Luka Doncic, by the way, Dallas is getting hot. He's starting to get into the conversation a little bit. And obviously, LeBron James is going to be in that conversation and Damian Lillard. But I put Joel Embiid at the head of the class right now.
Zach Lowe, how about you?
Well, first of all, James Harden, he's been majestic in Brooklyn. Incredible. But, we at least have to acknowledge that the MVP would award him for this season, the first 10 games of which he spent trying to get the hell out of Houston and throwing lazy bounce passes. That all counts. That's part of it. The MVP right now, I had Joel Embiid by a little bit before he got injured. Legs said he's missing games. He's going to have to make up some games. Right now, it's Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is the MVP of the NBA right now. He's the Vegas favorite, and I think he deserves to be. He's having an all-time offensive season, and he's a little bit better defensive player than people make him out to be. He's played every game, basically, hasn't missed any time. If you give the ball to Nikola Jokic, if you give him a touch on any possession, it is basically a guaranteed good shot for the Denver Nuggets. So right now, he's the MVP, and I think the Nuggets will help his case by continuing to make a run up the standings in the West in the last 30 games here.
I would vote for Jokic as well, or not necessarily vote for him, but I'm predicting Jokic because Vegas tends to get these things right a heck of a lot more often than I do, and if they're saying he's the favorite right now, I'll go along with them. But Legler, I want to follow up with you, if I can, on something Zach Lowe just said, because Zach said the same thing on my radio show yesterday, and I wish I had pushed Charles on this when he was on and made these initial comments. The way this season, it was still this season, that Harden forced his way out of Houston and did so in a way that a lot of people were turned off by. Do you believe that will impact his chances of winning MVP if he stays completely on fire through the rest of this year?
Ultimately, honestly, I do not think that's going to sway voters. I think if he continues to play the way that he has, and Brooklyn, continues to win at that rate, I think there are people that are just going to look at it and say, look, is this the best player, the most dominant player, the most impactful player I've seen this year? And they're going to put that to the side. I truly believe that. So I think it comes down to this. If you think it's Harden, vote for him. But I think there are other guys that people are going to look at and say, with what they have to work with and where their teams are positioned in the standings, that guy is more deserving than James Harden. That's my argument for Joel Embiid.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.